I'm Bradley Harris.
And I'm Siobhan Maguire. Coming up on today's show.
Are the police using excessive force?
The city turns green in Manchester for the St Patrick's Day parade.
And you may remember these five brothers from Tarleton, but where are they off to now?
Good afternoon. Last week we featured a package about Barton Moss, a fracking protest camp that is based at an iGas site in Salford. Protesters claim they've witnessed police brutality during peaceful marches. We got a more in-depth response from Chief Superintendent Mark Roberts from Greater Manchester Police.
I think brutality is a very emotive word. There's certainly been complaints about police actions, round about 30, I think, formal complaints that we've had. Now, if you bear in mind that when we started the operation, it was late October, early November, typically we'll run 4 days a week. On a given day, we can have anything between 15 to 100 protesters and a number of police officers. So when you actually look at the number of complaints we've had, and some of the complaints are motivated to take issue with the police, it's not an unreasonable number.
It was victory last night for Rosbottom's protesters when an AD plant proposed by Peel Holdings got rejected by the planning committee. Ban quarry is from around the area, including Peelborough Primary School. Labour candidate James Frith was one of the majority who voted against the plant.
They found legitimate planning reasons to throw the application out. Local democracy's won today, and it's a hell of a result for Ramsbottom, and I'm absolutely delighted with it. Ramsbottom does not want this application, it won't want the appeal, and we'll fight the appeal, so stay away.
Thank you.
So the votes are in, they've been counted, and the results of the student elections were announced at an X Factor style event at University House. 18 became 5 after weeks of campaigning to represent students at the University of Salford. And now we've got Fizza Ikram with us, the president-elect.
Hello.
How are you? How are you feeling after your win?
I'm good. I'm really excited. I was slightly overwhelmed at the time, but I think we've got a lot to look forward to.
And you've set a record, I believe, in the process in your win.
Yes, I have. I mean, I was one of those candidates who went from nothing to becoming president, whereas in the past everyone's either become a vice president first and then become a president.
So what's next for you?
Well, I begin on the 1st of July. So until then, I've got my final year to complete. So right now, I think I'm focusing on that.
How are you going to balance this all? So with the presidency and your work at university, how are you going to manage all that?
Good question, because in the next couple of weeks I've got a lot of conferences to attend, a lot of meetings, a lot of dinners, and at the same time I've got my final project. So I guess I just need to be organised, make sure I balance the two, and I can manage it. I mean, I got through the campaign okay, and I got some good grades already, so I think I'll be okay.
And what about the actual bigger team? You've got a few of the vice presidents that were already there and they're back again. Is that a help to you to have people that have already experienced?
It'll be fantastic. I mean, I think I've got I can learn a lot from them. The current 3 VPs are running will be VPs again, and we've got Marina, who's a master's student, and she's like me. We're both new, so I think I've got a lot to learn from the VPs. And again, I'm really excited about it.
What is the first thing you're going to try and tackle?
Yeah.
First thing, I think it's going to be the university bus, getting a tracker on there for all the people that live on campus, so they can keep up to date where the buses are. I think that's one of the first things I want to do. But then, obviously, there's a lot of other things I'd like to do.
Okay, great.
Well, good luck with everything.
Yes, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
Okay, so it was my turn this week to report on the Irish Festival. St Patrick's Day is always celebrated around the world, and for Manchester it was no different. I went out to try and find my Irish roots.
The St Patrick's Day celebration has been around for thousands of years, and by the looks of things, the saint has still got his lucky charm, especially in Manchester, and it's not the weather. Hundreds of people took to the streets, including many who came to visit from abroad.
I'm loving the people, the atmosphere, great beer, and just everyone's happy. That's the best part.
Albert Square Own Irish Market carried on the day's events with entertainment, food and Irish celebrations.
I think it's a very diverse city, and the Irish have played a massive part in Manchester and the building up of Manchester years ago.
It's such good crack, isn't it? There's plenty of people around and there's plenty of drink and it's all about the crack. Aye.
It's our heritage and it's our roots really. Irish people over here as well, so you can't have everything in Ireland, you need to have something mixed over here as well.
Meanwhile, over at St Kentigern's Irish Club, there were also many special sights and sounds, as many were out to try and master the art of the ceilidh, an Irish tradition which features different folk dances.
Some of the people here because they're really keen on folk dancing, different traditions of folk dancing.
Then people come and they have a great time, and then so they keep coming. And I guess it's kind of like people get to know by word of mouth how much fun it is, and that's why they keep coming, I guess.
Kevin Fitzpatrick, who runs the club, even gave us a lesson in how to make the perfect head on a pint of Guinness.
Happy St Patrick's Day to you all. Thanks very much for coming to the monthly ceilidh at St Kentigern's. You're more than welcome for the next month's coming. But most of all, you might as well try a pint of Guinness. 1759 is a long, long time ago. So if it wasn't for Guinness, you wouldn't be all as happy as you are tonight.
After many people joined in with the celebrations, the day had its main highlight when the parade marched through the heart of Manchester, covering the city in a wave of green and traditional Irish icons. Bradley Harris, Quays TV News.
Well, that certainly looked like a lot of fun, Bradley.
Oh, it was, Siobhan, it really was. I've never done anything like that before. How was your Irish festivities going on?
Yeah, I actually really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I went to a few different events and then celebrated St Patrick's Day on the day, so that was good. That was good.
Okay.
But now we're moving on to our lovely film buff, Will. You went to see the testosterone-filled film Need for Speed.
Yes.
What was it like?
It's based off the video game franchise of the same name, and when you just think it's a racing game, how do you make a movie out of that? I don't think I can't really call it a good movie, but I think it succeeds. It's a difficult one to approach because you listen to the dialogue, it's pretty bad. The acting is kind of passable, but it excels at the one aspect that it wants to. And Scott Wow, the director, he is a stuntman by trade. He was a stuntman, his father was a stuntman, and his father before him, so he endeavoured to create a movie that had no computer effects. It was all stunts, all practical, and he succeeds. The things that they pull off in this movie are phenomenal. The car stunts, the camera work, it's sublime. I just wish the movie surrounding it worked as well as the stunts. It's kind of like going to see an old Jackie Chan movie. There's a plot around it, but you go to see these people risk their lives to wow and entertain audiences. So while I don't think it's a good film, it does work as a great action showreel.
And what about Aaron Paul? We know him from Breaking Bad, but is he able to separate the characters? Do you see him as not?
I'm not a big Breaking Bad expert. I'm currently catching up on this series. I'm about 3 seasons in, and there's 5 of them. But I think it's a good evolution for the character. It's different, but you can still tell it's Aaron Paul.
Yeah.
He does sort of play that cocky, surefire person who is in way over his head in many situations. It's a nice evolution, but he's not reinventing the wheel. But I look forward to seeing what he does next.
We've just seen it there, and the action looks great, but you said as a storyline, just not, it's not quite there.
Yeah, the movie completely falls apart under its own logic if you ask one simple but vital question. Why? Why are these people doing what they're doing? There's very little motivation or actual rationale for doing the things that they do. And once you kind of pick up on that, the rest of the movie kind of falls apart. So I can't really call it good, but I had a good time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was quite laughing with it or at it, but there was some sort of energy in there, which I kind of admire, but I don't think it will be a movie that I'll want to revisit years down the line.
And who's going to love this film then? Who's going to go see it?
I think if you like the Fast and the Furious franchise, I can't really recommend it to fans of the video game because it's, other than cars and the title, there's very little connection. But if you like popcorn, leave your brain at the door kind of action entertainment, then you can't really go wrong with Need for Speed. I can't guarantee you'll be engaged throughout the entire 2-hour film, and 2 hours is a very long time for an action film of this nature. But it's okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks very much, Will. That's great.
Thank you.
So, United fans are not happy at the moment, are they, Cameron?
No. And with pressure mounting on David Moyes, the Manchester United manager, tonight's Champions League second leg against Olympiacos has gained even more significance. The Reds face an uphill struggle to overturn a 2-0 deficit from the first leg. Tom Deegan is at Old Trafford with all the build-up.
In progress, and so is the club. After defeat to local rivals Liverpool at the weekend, David Moyes has stressed that he's here for the long term.
We never discuss it, we talk about the future. We're making big plans for years going forward. That's why there's a 6-year contract, because this club is not a club that works on short-term vision, it works on a long-term vision.
The Manchester United supporters have stuck by the club all season, and left-back Patrice Evra wants to repay the faith tonight.
But in life you always have a second chance, and you get it tomorrow night. And I am not God to telling you we're going to qualify tomorrow, but I can promise you we're going to all fight and respect this shirt tomorrow, and make sure all the fans will be really proud of us after that game.
After a 2-0 loss in Greece, Manchester United will be looking to repeat history and what they did over 30 years ago and come back from a 2-0 deficit to go through to the next round of the Champions League. Tom Steegman, Quays TV News.
FC United moved up to third place in the Evo Stick Premier League after last night's convincing 4-0 win over Stafford Rangers at Gig Lane. 2 goals in each half from Tom Greaves and Charlie Raglan in the first, and then Tom Greaves and Greg Daniels in the second, gave the Reds all 3 points to keep their automatic promotion hopes well and truly on track. They now sit third in the table, 3 points adrift of leaders Chorley. After 2 wins in their last 10 matches, Manchester Minotaurs were hoping to make it 3 in 11. Craig Carroll has more.
Manchester Minotaurs suffered yet another defeat in the NIHL Cup. This time it was a 6-4 defeat against Sutton Stings.
Disappointing, obviously. No one wants to lose. Thought we were getting a few sloppy goals as well, so we had the potential to take the win. It would have been nice to get a win against Sutton this late in the season as well, with only 1 game left. But they played well, obviously, and it was quite deserved victory for them, I guess.
It has been a poor season for the Minotaurs, and they are looking to rebuild again for next year.
We've got 1 game left. Obviously it's really important that we make a good impression now. We've had a tough season this year. It'd be really nice to get a last win. But the main focus now should be developing for next season. Like, we need to try and get ourselves back together and start getting off-ice training again, on-ice training before the start of August, so that we've got a decent competitive start for next season as well. So just looking forward, basically.
This is Craig Carroll for Quays TV News.
Finally, 5 brothers from Hesketh Bank have all been selected for Slovenia's rugby union squad. The first time ever one team has included 5 siblings. Emily Burgin reports.
These 5 rugby players have 2 things in common. They've all been signed to Slovenia Rugby Club, and they're all brothers. Jack, Max, Archie, George and Frankie Skofic have qualified to represent Slovenia in the match against Bulgaria. The Championship Division 2 match will take place in Ljubljana on the 12th of April and is the first time 5 siblings have played together for one team.
It's something that I'm very proud to do and really just looking forward to it. Want to do it and test yourself in that environment. It was a big shock, very surprised when it came about, but you want to be able to, if that opportunity comes around, you want to take it and hopefully have a good time doing it.
To play for a country, you must be born in that country, have a parent or grandparent who was, or have lived there for 3 years. The brothers' grandfather arrived from Slovenia after the Second World War and settled in Hesketh Bank.
And if all these 5 brothers make it onto the pitch at the same time, they may well be the first quintet to play internationally.
The brothers caught the attention of national selectors when they played together in the Jonathan Skofic Invitational Tournament, a competition set up in memory of their father, who tragically died in 2011. He was a huge influence in local rugby union circles and helped set up Tarleton Rugby Club, where his 5 sons play.
It was one of his dreams for us to to all play together. He wanted to play with us as well. It was always something he said of as we were growing up that one day it was going to be him and all 5 of us on a pitch together. Unfortunately, that never happened. But you know, when we got all 5 of us on a club pitch in the tournament to remember him, that was special.
With fitness tests, matches and the trip to Slovenia approaching, training plays a big part in the lives of these brothers.
We train 3-4 times a week and we have a game at least once a week. And then on top of that, because I would say we were all highly devoted to rugby, we go to the gym and it takes part of a lot of our social life, but that by no means means that we don't enjoy it.
The boys will be cheered on by family and friends in England and Slovenia, including their mother Pat and their 2-year-old sister Violet. Emily Bergen, Quays TV News.
That's all for the sport. Time to throw back to Bradley.
Yes, because throwing is actually what we're about to talk about next. Because Siobhan, I'm not sure about you, but what do you feel about throwing food?
Throwing food?
Throwing food.
That's a bit of a waste. I love my food too much to actually throw it around the place. No. What about you, Will?
It's just messy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why?
Definitely.
It's messy, but it's great fun.
It depends what you're throwing. Like a watermelon, just no. That would be painful.
That would be sore.
Yeah.
Okay, so Food Fight Friday may sound like a messy affair. However, it is quite the opposite at Upper Campfield Market Hall in Deansgate. Every Friday for the next 11 weeks, food experts from around Manchester will be showing off their skills in a big exhibition. Our reporter, Joanna Sinkowska, went for a taste.
Beats and Eats are on the menu at a new series of food raves in Manchester. The non-ticket, no guest list event promises fun atmosphere and delicious food all combined in one.
It's just nice because sometimes when you go out for dinner you don't know what you want, so it's nice to have a good option and have a little bit of each and then just sit down and have a beer while you're doing it, so yeah.
Not really been anything like this before in Manchester, so just a really nice atmosphere and just great seeing so many stalls and just another good thing that Manchester's doing, I suppose.
Beat Street Friday Food Fight takes place over 12 Fridays from the 7th of March. The project has now seen its second night and didn't fall short of the opening night.
With some delicious food and drink, Friday never tasted so good.
The event works as a springboard for more amateur cooks to come in and cook next to some of Manchester's best.
It's just giving everybody a chance, so we've got like chefs here, we've got restaurants here, and we've got new startups, so it's like everybody's kind of not competing against each other, but they're all like in this together, which is really different and really good.
We are counting down the hours to the next Friday Food Fight, but if you're hungry now, head over to the website. Joanna Sinkowska for Quays TV News.
Well, that actually didn't look as bad as what I thought it was going to be, but we're heading over to Helen now for the weather.
Thanks, Siobhan. This morning has been beautiful and it's going to remain largely dry for most of the day, especially across Manchester and Cheshire. The odd spot of rain is expected, possibly over the higher grounds as the cloud thickens from the west. Windy with gales possible over the coasts, highs of around 14 degrees. Tonight it is likely to be windy with gales over the coasts and hills. Another mild night and it's becoming increasingly cloudy with some patchy and light rain in the morning. Tomorrow, a band of occasional heavy rain and gales will move southwards, clearing later on. Colder but brighter conditions with blustery showers following, and these will be heavy and wintry at times, highs of 8 degrees though. For the rest of the week it will be colder than of late, with blustery showers Friday and Saturday. These will be heavy with thunder at times but occasionally wintry too. Showers are going to ease on Sunday with strong winds staying throughout. Temperatures remaining cool around 8 degrees, and it looks like it's going to remain cool for next week. Back to you.
Thanks, Helen.
Thank you, Helen.
Well, that's all from us today. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Quays News and visit our website at quaysnews.net.
Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Goodbye.